So I see a lot of people making comments about Tyro, and particularly in reference to his usability and how his stats compare to other people in the current global version. And a lot of people say he sucks and he's worthless and you shouldn't use him and stuff like that. But I really want to make this video to show that he doesn't suck, that he has a lot of value. It's just you have to put it in perspective of the game as a whole and not just the current metagame. So the global version is only about 1 month old. And yes, there are some elite dungeons that are somewhat challenging, but for the most part, it's whoever, if you have strong relic weapons and you have decent spells, you can pretty much clear anything in the game right now with auto attacks and magic. That's fine. So, I mean, obviously, Tyro really wouldn't have a role in the current metagame because Rydia does magic better, Eris heals better, and you've got a ton of bruisers who hit harder. So why would you use Tyro? And of course, that would make sense, but I would really advise people to step back and try to understand, kind of have a more broader picture of what Tyro's value is going to be in future content, because the content will get a lot harder and the current metagame will be completely worthless. So scrap everything you know about the current metagame and how to clear current content and focus on what value Tyro can bring to future content. And that's what this video is going to show. So the reason why Tyro is so valuable is because he's the most versatile character in the game. He can use everything. He doesn't excel at anything, but he can contribute in every aspect of the game. And he rounds out parties very, very well. So just as an example, I have my Final Fantasy X party up. I took this through a lot of Final Fantasy X Elite dungeons. I took it through the most recent Final Fantasy X event, cleared 2 out of 3 extra battles. I didn't try the third one, but if I had probably really worked on it, I probably could have cleared it. So this gives you an idea of this party was specifically geared towards a particular boss. If I did not have the combinations of skills and characters that I do right now, I probably wouldn't have been able to clear what I was able to clear. And the reason why is you need so many abilities to coordinate so many abilities to get through a lot of more difficult bosses in the future, because not only do they have high HP, but they do very, very strong AoE attacks and single target attacks as well. So, and a lot of them are mixed. So again, like a lot of current bosses, they're either magic damage or physical damage, or they hit really, really hard physically, but their magic isn't so bad, or vice versa. You'll come across bosses where no, their single target attacks do 2,000 damage and their AoE does 2,500 damage. So how do you get through that? Well, you have to have constant breaks, which take up at least two ability slots, depending on how honed you have it, and if you need extra, and at least 2 ability spots for buffs. So that's 4 out of 10, 40% of your abilities are going to come from just buffs. You need another one for healer, so that's half. And then you'll want something like slow as well, so that's 6 out of 10 of your abilities are just basically coming from dealing with the damage that's coming at you. So all these offensive abilities and stuff are nice, but they don't really work later. So you look at something like this, you see I've got somebody completely designated as my breaker, Titus, and then as my healer, my slower. I need somebody to round out my party to buff, so I put both buffs on Tyro. Now, because I have to use so many buffs and debuffs, that doesn't give me a lot of room for offensive abilities. So what I do is I just give him a Buster Sword, and he's got 230 attack. He does decent damage, so maybe RN does a Blade Blitz, and then one hit from Tyro will finish off one mob, and then Kimari can finish off the other mob. So there's good synergy there because Tyro is able to complement Aron's damage and to help finish off monsters and stuff because he has that high DPS, or that decent DPS, enough to finish off stuff. Whereas in the boss fight, I can just buff, and then if I really want to do more damage, I'll just have Tyro attack Aron while he's retaliating. So he melds in very, very well with this group. Because of that, I don't have any room for offensive magic. Everything is very defensively based, but I still want to be able to have him put out some decent DPS. He's the only person who can use high level buffs and still attack for 200, with 200, 250 attack. So that's one. So that's one way to run him, but let me play around with stuff. So you could give him a rod. So let's say now I've given him a rod, something with magic, and I want to run him. So I've made him a mage now. So let's say I give him Quake, right? I give him Quake. Oops. Let's say I give him Quake because I want him to, now this time around, I need wave clear. So I'm going to give him Quake, and but I need some extra breaks because it's a 2-part boss and both parts of the boss cast magic. So I need 2 breakers now. Well, great, that's fine. Guess what? He can do that too. I'll give him high magic break. Right there. I'll give him high magic break. So now I've got Titus has magic break and Tyro has high magic break. But he's also got Quake. So he's got Quake, so now he can help me clear. I'll slap a rod on him. Right? So here we go. So he had 235 attack before. Not the highest, but certainly considerable. So let me just switch everything around. So we just go by highest magic, and we'll give him this. So now he's got 200 magic. So again, and I give him, if I took his power belt off, and I gave him some magic, here we go. So now he's got 220. So I was basically able, with just a few changes, completely switch his attack and magic power. Now he's got enough AoE damage to help me clear waves to get to the boss, but he can still debuff the boss. It's really hard to find characters that can do that. So just don't write off Tyro, I'm telling you, especially for those of you who end up drawing his Steel Wall Grimoire. Like if I were to draw that, he would probably pretty much be a permanent member in my party because just his flexibility and his versatility, like I said, it's just too good to pass up. So yes, don't worry too much about using him now, but don't bench him. Don't put him on the side and just forget about him. Keep him leveled. Keep him on par with other people because you will want to use him later. He will be a very, very valuable member of a lot of parties in the future, unless you're just, you dish out tons of money and you have all the best items, and then, but even then you still will have to have a good strategy to clear content. So, just don't write him off as somebody who sucks in the back of your mind, and hopefully, this is kind of giving you perspective on why you shouldn't, just throw him to the wayside and just forget about him. So keep that in mind. I'll try to keep making videos about things, comments, and kind of general trends of thought that I see going on in the community and stuff like that. So expect more of these as I kind of get wind of kind of the thoughts that are going around on the metagame. So take care, guys. I'll see you in the next one.